Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Farheen and in today's video I am going to help you to learn about a very important topic from CDP, that is Principles of Development. So before that, let us what is actually meant by development. So it is a broader concept which deals with several domains like physical, social, etc. So development is a broader concept. Every activity of a child, like every different domain like physical growth of a child or their emotional growth, understanding principles of development. So for that, let us understand why do we need to actually learn about principles of development. It helps educators to tailor their teaching methods to suit the developmental stages of children. So, when a teacher understands what are principles of development, so they can able to understand the different mindset of a child, that every child is different and they have their own learning pace and that they have their own process to learn. So, a teacher would be able to connect with child. So, create activities for every child. So every child is different. They cannot learn equally. So what we have to understand to develop their mindsets, to help them learn something, we can only be able to do that with help of principles of development. It is very important and crucial for children, for teachers. Now let us come to the points, principles of development. So first point, principle of continuity or principle of change. This ability of a child keep changing as he grows in his life. Principle of proceeding from general to specific. His development can change from general to specific. For the child, if he wants to point at something, he shows his hand directly. But as he grows in his life, what he do? He can directly point his finger for the specific thing he wants. So, third principle of individual differences. This principle explains us that every child is different. So, every child in a classroom differs. And for example, their height, their physical strength, their mental ability. Some children can learn very fast, but some children needs time. They take their own space like that. So, in the fourth principle of uniform pattern or sequence. So it shows that the development can be a specific pattern or sequence. For it deals with physical development. So, for example, first the child would sit, then he would crawl, then he would slowly stand up, and then he would start walking. It have a uniform pattern or sequence of development. Next, principle of maturation and learning. So maturation, as you know, it of growth and development. So it is the overall development of a child, the mental ability, his maturity to understand and learn things. So if a child is not mature enough to learn some subjects, he will not be able to learn even if he has the age to learn that appropriate topic, like that. So next, let us come to principle of developmental direction. So this have two different stages. In the cephalocaudal stage, the development takes place from head to foot. For example, a child first develops his head in the embryo, then slowly his body parts develop till foot, like that. In proximo-distal stage, in proximo-distal direction, the development is from center to periphery. What is meant by that? For example, in the embryo stage, first spinal cord of a child would develop, and then slowly his other different body parts like his heart or kidneys, but mainly spinal cord, the center part of a child would develop. So, principle of integration, whole to part and part to whole development takes place. A child, the whole hand movement. If he is crying, he moves his hand, or if he want to ask you to take him in your lap, then he will show his whole hand. Then later, slowly, his finger movement will develop. He will learn to point fingers. Then later, what he does, he can learn that to point both hands and both fingers. That moment he will understand. So that is principle of integration. Next, principle of interrelation. Now, every different domain of a child is interrelated. How his physical growth, his physical domain, his cognitive domain, his intellectual domain. So everything is interrelated. His emotional development, that is interrelated. For example, slow physical development, then his emotional development will also be very less. Like that. Next, principle of product of heredity and environment. Now, his genetic characteristics. For example, if intellectual parents are there, then children will be easy to, they would also be smart. For example, his height, if taller parents are there, then their child will be tall. Like that, the inbreed or heredity characters which come from their parents will also have a influence on the development of a child. Next, the environment. In environment at their home or at their society or at their school will also have an influence on the development of a child. Next, principle of total development. It is similar to that of principle of interrelation. Both are similar, same concept. Like every domain of a child influence on the development. Every different domain, like that. Next, principle. So when the children are small, they will have immense self-love. They won't fear to express that they are great, like that. But in the adolescent stage, they will feel insecure about themselves. They would feel shy or introvert. But later, as they grow, after passing of adolescence or from the ending of adolescent stage, they would once again give self-love for themselves. The development would not be same for the children. Some characteristics would come in the early stage, go for some time in the latter stage, but they can come afterwards after they gain maturity, like that. Next, principle of significance of early development. Early development of a child is very important for their growth. If the child is not taken care properly in the physical way, in providing their nutrition or in providing emotional support for them, emotional stability, then this would have impact on their development in the latter stages. So even though you would provide them better nutrition in the latter stage, they may not be physically strong enough. They may not have that kind of level of growth in them if they have that missing in the early stage. So that's why it is also important to take care of them in the early stages. So that's all for today. Want the video to be in Telugu or in Urdu or Hindi explanation, then you can go and check out my channel for that.